A good weekend insofar as Donald Trump caved. We were on the air Friday when that happened, and I just want to, make this clear. I think the Democrats did a good job in not screwing this up. I think Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer. Pelosi obviously was a positive force, and Chuck Schumer was smart enough to sort of recede, and a lot of this was successful because Chuck goaded him into saying, "I'll own the shutdown," and I think that was a moment that Donald Trump would like to take back, and I think Chuck Schumer is very proud of himself about that, and good for him. But largely understand this: what the Democrats did was they managed not to screw it up, and good for them. They deserve credit for that. But on Friday, 5 minutes into the show, there were reports that LaGuardia, that Miami, and I think Philadelphia airports had to suspend flights for an hour or something. And it was obviously a work action by some of the air traffic controllers. Simultaneously, the flight attendant union put out a statement saying, in response to the FAA staffing shortages, Sarah Nelson, the president of the flight attendants union, said this is exactly what AFA and other aviation unions have been warning about would happen. The aviation system depends on the safety of the professionals who run it. They've been doing unbelievably heroic work, even as they are betrayed by the government that employs them. They're fatigued, worried, and distracted, but they won't risk our safety, so the planes will stay on the ground. This is anything but a sick out. It's only about our safety and the air traffic controllers' absolute commitment to it. Do we have your attention now, Leader McConnell? All lawmakers, open the government and get back to business and democracy to discuss whatever issue you so choose. Shutdown must end immediately. This is the unions associated with the airports basically threatening, we're going to go all in on this. There's solidarity, and this is a veiled threat. And it was not, it was not a glib one, and it was certainly substantiated by, with reality. But it was it goes beyond a threat. It's a promise. Like, look, you drop a hammer off of a building, it's going to fall to the ground. That's what's going to happen. Gravity is going to work here. And then, and we said at the first 10 minutes into the show on Friday, I was like, this is probably going to end by the weekend. Because this is the beginning of the end of those people who work at airports who are going to continue to take this. And once the airports go, forget it. Within 3 hours, the government shutdown was over. So, and from day one on the shutdown, I think we said literally from day one, it's the airports. Because that's the moment where you start to shut down, the government functioning for the wealthy people in a really explicit way, and B, because it is such an easily digestible, it's a national story. It has you can see it. If you're in New York City, you can see it when Atlanta shuts down their airport. And so make sure that that credit is where credit is due on this. This was a labor victory. This was about labor power. And it just bookmark this in your minds, folks, because this is indicative of what labor can do. Meanwhile, Mick Mulvaney trying to make the best out of a really bad situation for the administration. I mean, this is, they really lost this one in a big, big way.
They didn't even come out of this with anything to spin. They just lost. It was just
this
a pure, unmitigated L.
Yes. But here's how they're going to salvage it. I mean, this is the most anemic thing I've ever heard. And I can just imagine, like, the idea that they think anybody takes this threat seriously. Look, Donald Trump may go out there and declare a national emergency to fund the wall, but it'll set an interesting precedent. Because I don't think he has any other emergencies he's going to see outside of maybe, Venezuela. But certainly there's some emergencies, I think, on the left that people envision. And if Wall Street's worried right now about an Elizabeth Warren or Bernie Sanders coming into office, wait till they have the emergency powers that Donald Trump is going to provide for them. That should be rather interesting. All right, here is Mick Mulvaney. Let's just keep the picture up, right? We're just going to keep the picture up? Oh, okay. Are you going to keep it on me? All right. Yeah, this is CBS, so we're just going to listen to the audio because they get very uptight about people seeing the images of Mick Mulvaney and who was the host? Margaret
You're not
Brennan.
missing anything.
All right, but here are the pictures of them.
Is the president really prepared to shut down the government again in 3 weeks?
Yeah, I think he actually is.
No,
keep
he's
in
not.
mind,
No,
he's
he's not.
willing to do whatever it takes to secure the border. He does take this very seriously. This is a serious humanitarian and security crisis.
Pause it.
And as
I mean, if we were to believe this, why did he start the government back up? Yeah. If he's willing to do anything that it takes, wait, what?
Just save
Is there
a
a
few
follow-up on
jobs.
this question?
Save
let's
a few
let's hear
jobs.
it.
President of the United States, he takes the security of the nation as his highest priority. He doesn't want to shut the government down. Let's make that very clear. He doesn't want to declare a national emergency. What he wants to do is fix this the way that things are supposed to get fixed with our government, which is through legislation. One of the reasons he agreed to open the government this week was to essentially take the Democrats at their word. While their leadership had been telling us they were not interested in negotiating and we're sort of taking this do nothing and hope the president gives up approach, there were many, many Democrats, both rank and file and some lower levels of leadership, would come to us and say, look, we happen to agree with you on border security.
Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that. I think that's the most anemic thing I've ever seen.
That's also, I mean, even Maggie Haberman had this piece in the Times, I think it dropped yesterday, about how Jared Kushner actually thought, because he was able to move this small and, I guess credit where credit is due, justice reform bill through the House and Senate and have Trump sign it, that all of a sudden he was now like the deal maker and the Democrat whisperer. And she just, in very like polite Times language was like, he really underestimated the extent to which rank and file Democrats back their leadership and their position. Seemed to kind of catch him off guard.
Well, it's only been 2 years,
right,
since they've been in office.
Right.
They're still neophytes.
Yeah,
and they haven't quite figured out how Washington works.
Right.